Hi, Steve Griffith, CEO of Griffith Group. Today we're going to focus on really moving out of the blame game to create a culture of high performance or a culture of resilience or a positive thinking, solution-minded culture. We have to create positive thinking individuals. What we need to do that is create leaders that lead that. So leading the charge of cultural change is creating positive thinking, solution-minded people. So let's look at that from the point of view of resilience. Resilience, let's imagine, is a line. And above the line is that I am positive thinking and solution-minded, and below that line, I'm negative thinking and problem focused. So how many of us are above the line on some days? Yes. Some days we are. How many of us are below the line some days? Yes, we are. So what we want to understand, though, that is when we look outside ourselves at why we go below the line, that's what we call the blame game. So we may go, you're causing me to be upset. The pressure of what I've got on at the moment is causing me to be negative. So what we want to understand is that when we shift the accountability away from us, self, and self-development and self-transformation, onto something external and go, that's the cause of me being below the line, then I move my accountability off myself, which is handy if I don't want to change. But if I need to change, and if I'm a leader, I have to change. I have to develop the self-awareness to know that my behaviors, my negativity, my reactions, my poor responses are all caused by me. They're not caused by anything outside myself. They're actually caused by me. So how do I build the resilience to stay above the line? And what we want to understand is that, yes, there are routines in our life that cause us to go below the line, and there are routines in our life that cause us to stay above the line. We're going to talk about that, but first we want to understand that when I talk about this and say to you, stay above the line and be positive, how easy is that really? Well, the answer is it isn't. Why is that? Well, simply the past. The past is incredibly powerful and it creates our present. So where you are right now is a byproduct of everything that you've done in the past. Your routine, habits, thinking, etc. has produced the state that you're in, energy, mental, emotional, how you react, how you respond. So when you wake up one day and say, well, look, I really need to change and be more above the line, it ain't so easy. Why isn't it so easy? Well, because of your brain. We don't just think our way into change, we act our way into change. But lo and behold, it's not even that. It's the fact that you have developed a brain map of your past. Let me explain that very quickly. Every thought that you've had, and you have 80,000 thoughts a day, produces a chemical. And that chemical is called a neurochemical, which is a chemical in the brain. Now, we have 100 million neurons and 100,000 dendrites attached to every neuron. And we develop these neuronal pathways, which means that the way you think and the way you repeat a habit builds a superhighway which accesses that. Now, in sport, when you repeat something over and over, a tennis player, a footballer, a cricket, you develop a neuronal highway which allows you to perform at a much higher level than anyone else. But if you also produce a thought pattern which is negative, you build a neuronal pattern that supports that highway. And when it comes to change, you may have a little backtrack of communicating more positively in a different way versus an old habit of the way you've always done things. So to build that new pathway takes a lot of energy. First of all, we need to decide that we're not playing the blame game. So when we go below the line, we don't go, you're causing me to get upset, you're causing me to get angry. We have to go, I need to look at self. I need to understand what it is that I'm doing in my routine that is creating the opportunity for me to overreact, get upset, doubt, fear, worry. And that all is wrapped up in all of these other intelligences. It might be physical, lack of energy. It might be emotional, that we're not resilient emotionally. And intellectually, it might be that we're not clear about the fact that we need to be self-aware enough that we need to do something differently. So The past is really dictating the future. And if we want the future to look differently or be differently in terms of self-transformation in leadership, we need to understand that what am I going to do differently now to stay above the line? Now that comes back to understanding what habits, routines I'm going to put in place to change the way I do things.